We really put our money where our mouth is, and we really truly put our time behind that as well. Our community involvement now is honestly one of the things I'm most proud of about our bank.
Produced by Podcast Architects.
Welcome. We're glad you joined us today. My name is Brandon Sears with Guaranty Bank Trust. I'm here with a special guest and want to invite you guys to like or subscribe to our video and hear the content that we're excited to share with you today. Want to introduce to you a very special guest here to my left, Miss Katie Croasdale. Katie, how you doing this morning?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good. Katie's located in our Galleria location in the Houston area. We're very excited she came to present for us this morning and want to get to know her a little bit more. So, Katie, could you introduce yourself, kind of your role within the bank and what you do on a day-to-day basis?
Sure. So I'm born and raised in Houston, so I've been there my whole life. Started banking when I was 18. Came to Guaranty in 2018, about 5 years ago now. And I am the market president at the Galleria, which basically means I'm responsible for growing relationships, deposits and loans in our community in Houston. And, helping out the personal bankers and front end crew wherever they need me. Try to stay out of their hair most of the time.
How's that going? How's it going in Houston?
It's great. It's exciting. We have a huge market in Houston, obviously, so it's been fun to introduce Guaranty Bank to a market that, wasn't familiar with us until a few years ago. So
that's great.
Yeah.
I hear good things.
It's good.
Why don't you tell me a little bit something different about you? Can you tell me maybe a skill or hobby that you have that many people may not know?
I can. I am actually certified to teach people how to breathe underwater. So I am a scuba instructor and do that on the side on the weekends and travel scuba diving as much as I can. So
I can breathe underwater?
If you let me teach you. I don't know that you want to try it right now.
I have a hard time believing that.
We'll see if we can get you there.
I have a question for you. What is your why? And what I mean by that is, what drives you to help Guaranty Bank customers?
So I think it's interesting, even in Houston being such a big city that it is, we're a city of small businesses, right? And Guaranty Bank, we focus on those smaller businesses. So for me, it's always fun to meet a new prospect or a client that, I may have driven past their building every day, driving to work, and never knew what went on behind those doors. So when you actually get to meet the people behind the business and learn what they're struggling with and what they need in ways that we can help them grow their business, it's just really exciting. You learn so much about different industries and businesses that you may not know anything about otherwise.
I think help is kind of the key word in what you said there. I feel the same way.
Yeah, for sure.
What was your role when you started with Guaranty, and what's your experience been getting to where you are now?
So I was hired as a senior commercial lender, and I had been at banks previously and done some other things, and it was an opportunity to kind of advance to a senior position with the bank. So I was a lender for a few years, and then had a conversation with Hal and Chuck, and let them know that I was interested in growing with the bank and that I saw the bank as my future, and that I just let them know, I'm really interested in doing more with the bank and having a bigger role. And so I said, where do I go from here? What do you need from me so that I can, maybe market president or eventually regional, let them know what I was interested in. And it's one of the things about this bank that I think is so incredible is that they really, truly look at their employees as the future. And so was given an opportunity and became market president a couple of years ago. And I just look forward to what comes after this.
I think there's a lot to be said about that, having the foresight to go forward and the gumption to go forward and just say, here I am, here's what I can do, let me go there. I've heard our CEO say multiple times, I've even heard him say it in a couple of job interviews. He asked people, what did you do in the summertime growing up? And I've always thought that was an interesting question, but one of the things he wanted to know was, were you sitting by the pool or were you mowing the pool around where people were sitting when you were growing up? So there is a value set by the guys that you said Chuck and Hal with understanding what people are capable of and how much more bandwidth that they have and are willing to put out there for their community. So that's great that you had that.
Yeah, and I think, we all come from different career backgrounds, and I started as a teller when I was 18. I've worked in the accounting department. I managed a bond portfolio. I've done all sorts of internal audit, which is a doozy. And all of those things help make us the bankers that we are. And I do think it speaks volumes to our organization that if you express an interest and they see that potential in you, that they will 100% support, your growth, both for us as individuals and for the bank.
I agree. I've seen that over and over. So kudos to you.
Thank you.
Here's one of my favorite questions, but can you give me a moment or a favorite time where you were able to help a customer?
Yeah, and I know this goes back a little while. During COVID, when we were doing the PPP loans, it was an interesting time for our communities, for the bank, for everybody. There was so much uncertainty. And at the very beginning of that period, nobody really knew what to do with these PPP loans. And I received a phone call from a woman who was clearly kind of at the end of her wits with trying to figure out what to do next. She said, she told me her name, and she said, I have just a little savings account there with about $100, but my husband and I have a business and we really need to get a PPP loan. Would you be able to help us? And fast forward, it ended up being they have a multi-million-dollar company in Houston. She called us because she knew she had a savings account with us that she had for years. Their bank that they had been with, where they keep millions of dollars in the bank. It was one of the bigger banks, and they were just unable and unwilling to help her. Mm-hmm. They moved everything to us. They're now my biggest operating account. And they're truly remarkable people. And they come in to this day, 3 years later, and they'll come into my office. And I mean, on the verge of tears about how we saved their business and that they will be customers for life now. So, it's us being small enough to be nimble and take care of customers that the big banks act like they're the most convenient, but it's in trying times, you just can't beat actual manpower and not just, running systems and technology. So
in trying times, I do think your true colors shine.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Can you tell me how your personal interests are tied into what you do for Guaranty Bank?
Sure. So I do like to travel a lot. Those of you that know me within the bank know that I travel a lot. But I do think that it has, helped me kind of connect with people that you might not ordinarily. So Houston is the most diverse city in the United States. That's not something people really realize, more so than New York. So we have a very, very diverse customer base. And, I travel to some off the beaten path places, and you'd be surprised at how often being able to talk about that. It might be a client or a prospect that is from one of those places, and being able to connect. My necklace is from, India. And so talking to customers, they recognize it right away, and it just gives something that's kind of an icebreaker, but really truly to just feel comfortable talking about cultures and backgrounds of all different types. Like, I think it makes us more personable, mm-hmm. and customers see us for bankers as humans, not just as a means to a transaction. So, yeah.
So talking about personal interests, Astros or Rangers?
Oh, come on, Astros, baby, all day.
I knew I didn't like it. How about you share a motto or a guiding principle that you live by that really helps influence you on your value set?
Yes. So Richard Branson actually said, if you are offered an opportunity and you don't think you can do it, say yes and then learn how to do it later. And that has honestly been, you have to kind of make a leap. You have to do things. You can't wait until you're an expert in anything. And if somebody has offered you that opportunity, it's because they see something in you and they see that you could handle it, right? So, it's kind of a more eloquent way of saying, fake it till you make it.
That's where I was going with that. Yeah, I've done that multiple times in my life. Yeah. Fake it till you make it. I love it. Where would you like to see Guaranty Bank's community involvement evolve in the next 5 years?
Well, our community involvement now is honestly one of the things I'm most proud of about our bank. And I tell people all the time, whether I'm talking to somebody who's interested in maybe joining our team or clients that have charities or organizations that they're involved in, that we really put our money where our mouth is. And we really, truly put our time behind that as well. And so I just look forward to us really growing that involvement, especially in Houston. I mean, I've said it before, Houston is a large city, and we can't be everything to everyone, and we can't save or help every, organization out there. But I do think we have an opportunity to really focus on things that make a big impact on people in our community. And I think it's so important that Guaranty supports us. Like, Guaranty knows what's important to me, and the bank supports my role in that too, and I just look forward to, continuing to grow what we're doing.
That's great. That's great. For some reason, I thought of, Mattress Mac opening up his warehouse to all those people during Hurricane Harvey, and those kinds of, the value set of that really resonates with who we are and what we try to do with organizations. And we talk about our involvement in many communities, but in Houston, I mean, you can look at the different organizations that we support. You can look them up, who we are involved with, and to us, that's so important as a community bank. I think you would agree with that.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I serve on a board for a nonprofit in Houston that the bank has been completely supportive of, that, helps situationally homeless individuals match with multifamily properties looking for hires. So it's, it gives back. It works with our customer base as well, with developers and operating companies, as well as, giving a hand up to individuals in need. That just, it does. It gives back to a community that means a lot.
Is there anything else you would like to share?
I'm just really proud to be a part of the bank and the company. And, the past 5, almost 6 years now have really meant a lot to me. And I just think it's so incredible that we can communicate with our executive team, with each other. It just really does feel like a family. And I'm just really proud to be a part of it.
Good. Boom. Good job.
Boom.
Just, again, want to thank you all for watching, and invite you all to check Guaranty Bank out a little bit further at gnty.com. Don't forget to like, subscribe to this video, and we appreciate you watching. Have a good day.
Produced by Podcast Architects.